County could become a more happy, thriving, and connected community. I'm Barry Braun, and I'm the founder of the Happy Community Project. I started the Happy Community Project because I strongly believe that our own well-being and the well-being of our children and grandchildren depend on communities that are mutually supportive amongst all the people who live within the community. On October the 27th, I'll be joining you to explore how Richmond County can become a more connected, belonging, and caring community across the generations. I'm honored and grateful to be able to speak with you on October the 27th, and I look forward to exploring these questions and more with you in a great conversation. Thank you, and I'll see you then.
So now there's a conference coming up, and it's called Imagine the Possibilities, Chapter 2.
Yes.
So can you tell me about that?
Sure thing. So last year, we received some funding through the Community Health Board, and we did a project called Connecting with Seniors, and Claire Doyle was involved with that project. And we reached out to all the seniors clubs and seniors organizations in Richmond County just to talk to them about how COVID had impacted them and what their concerns were kind of going forward. That resulted in us coming together last June in 2022, and we met with about 40 people and shared the results of what we had learned. And what we heard back from a lot of the seniors clubs is that they were really looking to Seniors Take Action Coalition to provide some leadership to continue to strengthen the opportunities for them to work together, to help build capacity in these clubs, to help them kind of do what they need to do to start getting people to come back, because a lot of members had stopped getting involved and a lot of clubs hadn't been meeting. So we heard what they had to say, and we came up with a strategic plan based on that as an organization to kind of look at what do we want to do as Seniors Take Action Coalition to kind of help move some of these issues forward. And interesting enough, one of the things that we did decide to do was the coalition has been meeting since 2016, but it was a group and not a not-for-profit. So one of the actions that has been taken in the last year is that the Seniors Take Action Coalition has actually formed as a not-for-profit organization in Nova Scotia. And effectively what that means is that now as an organization, we can start accessing funds through various sources so that we can continue to do the good work that we have been involved in, but we've always relied on our partners to get the funding. So we put together an application, and we received some money through age-friendly funding through the province. And in June, we hosted this session called Imagine the Possibilities, Chapter 1. And the whole purpose of that session, again, was to bring seniors clubs and others that were interested in working on seniors issues together to talk specifically about what are some of the actions that we can take as a community to respond to some of the issues that had been discussed last year. And through that discussion, one of the ideas that came up was to have a conference. Now, some of the things we had already started to act on, one was we are now producing a calendar of activities every month. There was a great response and interest in our newsletter, so we've been able to carry on with the newsletter. There'll be one coming out next week for the fall. And so we decided, based on that feedback when we met on June, that we would start organizing this conference. So that's why it's called Chapter 2, because it's a continuation of when we came together in June. But this conference is a one-day conference. It's going to be held on Friday, the 27th of October at Richmond Education Center in Louisdale. It's meant for older adults, 55 plus, and people that work with older adults. It's a full day. We have a keynote speaker. His name is Barry Braun, and he's an older adult himself, and he founded the Happy Communities Project, which is something that's kind of starting to spread throughout Nova Scotia about, what are the ingredients of a happy community, and we need to kind of support each other and work together. We're also going to be hosting a number of workshops in the morning on volunteerism, because there's been a number of things that have been identified to us about how do we recruit volunteers? Volunteers are burned out. How do we have meetings that are going to be interesting? And so we also included one on intergenerations. How do we bring in a new group of young volunteers? So we're going to host those sessions in the morning, and then over lunch, one of the other things that we've been involved with in Richmond County is called the Acton Collectively Project, which I'm sure people have heard from me about that before. We're still in the recruitment phase for that project. So after lunch, we're going to be having a presentation on updating that project. We'll also be having a presentation from Community Links, which is a provincial organization, and the Nova Scotia Federation of Seniors are going to be on hand. Over the lunch hour, we're going to have a community showcase featuring about 15 organizations in the community that have information to provide to seniors, so people can go to the various tables. And then in the afternoon, we're going to be offering some workshops on more kind of personal development. So there's going to be a workshop on technology, one on yoga and mindfulness. There's going to be one on grief and bereavement, one on healthy aging. So people will have an assortment of what they want to choose from. And there's no cost for older adults to attend. You do have to register though, and registration is going to be closed on October 20th, because we need to then assign food and all that sort of thing. Lots of promotions are happening on social media. You can register online, or you can pick up a hard copy application, and then some are available at the municipal office, and seniors clubs have them on hand. And then you can call in the information if that's more convenient for you.
It can also, if you could provide me some, I'd be happy to have some at Telile as well.
That's great. That's wonderful. And if anybody drops one off there, you can just
I
scan
will.
it to us, and then we can enter it into the database.
I know where to find you. It's okay.
Great. Okay, that'd be wonderful. Thanks.
So I think it looks like a really action-packed day.
It's going to be, and I hope you're able to join us that day.
I actually am going to attend.
That's great. That's
Yeah,
great.
I've made that. I put that on my calendar. So
Well, that's
'cause
good.
I think it's a really good opportunity to meet everybody as well.
Yeah, it will be.
Yeah, I
And
think so.
the other thing, one of the other things that's really become important is that we do have a lot of seniors clubs in the area, and they're really looking for opportunities to work together as well, because you know, we have our data, our volunteer base is dwindling. People have not re-engaged. The same volunteers are showing up everywhere. So we have to start thinking differently. And that's why it's called Imagine the Possibilities. So imagine the possibilities of what we might be able to do if we work together more as a community and collaborate, so that we don't have competing interests. We don't have, like right now, I'll give you an example. In Richmond County, we have 3 breakfasts that are hosted. They're all on different Sundays, which is a good thing. So you can be living in Discouse, but you can go to breakfast in Louisdale if you want to on a given Sunday. Well, we would like activities for seniors to be the same. So for example, you know, whether you go to a card play in West Ayrshire or in Louisdale, or whether you take part in an activity in St. Peter's, we want people to start working together more, so that they're not doing things that are kind of competing with some of the other clubs. So the more we can do in that regard, the better. So on the same note, which is kind of associated with the clubs, is that there used to be an organization called the Richmond County Seniors Council, and it was, over the years, the leadership that was provided to that organization was the late Claire Marchand. That particular organization is affiliated with the Nova Scotia Federation of Seniors, and it represents all the clubs in the area. So a decision was made that it doesn't make sense to have 2 organizations all working for seniors. So we've decided to come together, 2 organizations. So the Richmond County Seniors is now going to be working with the Seniors Take Action Coalition. We'll continue to support the clubs. We'll continue to be associated with the Federation, but there will be no need for the same people to be going to 2 meetings in the same month. So we're starting to kind of work together closer.
And that does happen a lot, doesn't it, Celeste?
It sure does. Yeah. And we're trying to do our part to reduce that.
So many different groups trying to achieve the same goal. And, you know, volunteerism, like you say, you know, people are getting older, and a lot of these older people, like some of them belong to 3 and 4 different clubs.
That's right.
You know, burnout is real in, you know, that in young people, let alone, you know, the seniors who put in so much and their hearts are really in it, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, very important to recruit younger people as well. I agree
So on
with
that note, one of the things that we're doing is we are looking for some young people to step up and come forward. So if they could get a hold of us. We're working with the schools and with the local Girl Guides in Port Hawkesbury, because one of the workshops that we're having in the afternoon is intergenerational. So what we're doing is we're hoping to have a number of youth team up with an older adult who wants to learn more about using their cell phone, their tablet, or their laptop. They
Great
just
idea.
bring the technology to the conference. If they register for that particular workshop, they get assigned to a student, one or two, maybe one student with two people, and they'll work with them over the course of that 1 hour workshop to help them with their technology. So we want youth to be involved. So that's one of the ways that we're asking them to be involved. We'll also be asking some of the youth in the morning, just before the volunteer workshops begin. We're going to be hosting what we're calling a fireside chat. So we're going to have 2 older adults and 2 youth, and they're going to be asked questions about what does volunteerism mean to them. So that's another way that we're going to be involving the youth as well.
Great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I think it'll be good for the youth as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And of course, none of this happens without the commitment and time volunteered by, I have a wonderful group of people that are working on the planning committee, people like Marlene LeBlanc for Petit de Gras, Janine Lacroix, Robert Gayesh and Debbie Sampson from Louisdale are on this committee. And we also have a couple of folks from the municipality that are kind of supporting it as well. That's Charla and Danielle recently who joined ranks there, Danielle Martel and Charla Mumbercat. So we're all kind of working together to create this day. Registrations are now open. I encourage people to sign up sooner rather than later, because there's a 2-week window to get registered. It is filling up. We've already got 12 community providers that have committed to come for the showcase. All our workshops are lined up. We're finalizing the details on the catering, but people do need to register. You can't just show up. So, because there's limited spacing. We're hoping for between 100 and 125 in total.
That would be a great turnout.
Yeah, the first year we had one, when I moved back to the area and started working with the older adults, we had our first conference in 2015 in the fall. We had 160 people come.
Wow.
I would love to see 160 people at this workshop.
Yeah.
Again. So if you're listening to this show, I encourage